Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, welcome to the Real Honest Wrestling Podcast. This is your host,
the Real Honest One, glad to return, John Ritlin, with my best friend and co-host.
And back from Ninja Derb, it's the Derbinator. Hello.
I'm curious, I actually shouldn't challenge you on how many derb puns you can come up with.
You couldn't derb your eyes.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. One, we are sorry we have not done one of these for a couple weeks. There's a few reasons. A, with the changes in the wrestling schedule,
finding time is very difficult.
It is. And also, I mean, you guys have offered your criticisms, but also a lot of positives about it. We will be including timestamps in this, so please make sure to click the timestamps or go to the timestamps if you want to find out about stories. But we're going to talk about the WWE Draft. We're going to give our opinions on AEW Dark, if it's a good idea, NXT on USA, a few things like that. Want to make mention, though, Sunday, we are going to talk about NXT, the NXT house show we're going to on Friday.
Yes.
To see Swerve back in Seattle. And also, the Defy show we're going to be going to the next day to see Matt Sydal, Amazing Red, Shima. Chris, what is 2019, honestly, with wrestling?
The best.
It really is. It really is, despite all obstacles and all insanity.
I mean, at least on the live wrestling scene, rather than, of course, the dead wrestling scene.
Which is?
Ring of Honor, apparently.
That too. Yeah, Ring of Honor. Actually, let's make mention of WWE hoovering up talent really, really quickly. So, I guess Darby Allin had made mention that he turned down a WWE contract offer. That makes sense.
Good for him.
Yeah, could you imagine what Now, to be fair, NXT might have used him well.
But the main roster could not.
No, it would have...
too small for the land of the Giants.
It would have been
At least
absolutely...
for how they book matches.
It would have been ridiculous. Now, I do want to say this.
Like, I mean, imagine what they would have done to him. They would have tagged him with Shorty G and called it good.
Yeah, Shorty Allen.
Shorty D. And Seth Rollins was like, oh, I thought that was my title.
It's pretty bad when Becky's testicles are bigger than Rollins's.
Mm-hmm.
So, Maria Manic, though, has apparently received a WWE tryout. Chris, you informed me before we went on the air. How many matches did Maria Manic have with Ring of Honor?
Now, this is what I just saw on the interwebs, but from what I have read, it appears to have been a number between -1 and 1, and it is not -1 or 1.
And that is, you know what? If that is true, if that is actually true, that is frightening because she debuted, a number of months ago at one of their pay-per-views. I was really happy for her. I like her YouTube channel. I think Maria Manic is quite good. I think,
I guess when it came to Manic, they had a bit of a panic.
But in all... God damn it. In all seriousness, though, Maria Manic, striking look, and I mean that in the most positive way. Mm-hmm. She could easily crack me in two. I might pay for that, but moving on.
Some people do.
Some people
do.
Yeah, David Carradine paid for a lot of stuff also.
Oh, that was a different kind of cracking.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, moving on from
all
that.
references aside.
Maria Manic, though.
Yeah.
If she does receive a WWE tryout, great. I hope that AEW tries to make her a counteroffer. I think she'd be pretty good. Mm-hmm. You could put her against Nyla Rose. That'd be good stuff. Because Maria Manic is young. She's talented. Yeah. She can't. If you check out her YouTube channel, she doesn't have a Twitter because she got banned for something that, like a joke that got made, and Twitter got sensitive. I can't imagine Twitter getting sensitive.
No, never.
Especially at things that I say. Can't imagine that.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised.
But Maria Manic, though, if she signs with WWE, good. They can make her a Beth Phoenix-like character. They have similar looks, except
They put her on commentary on NXT and have her get shouted over by Mauro Ranallo?
To be fair, I think almost anybody. I think Nigel gets shouted over by Mauro, and Nigel can be pretty loud.
You can hear some of the frustration because Mauro, he commands a room.
Which we're not knocking up Mauro.
No. But yeah. Beth Phoenix, every time she tries to say something, Mauro will immediately hop in with that line.
Yeah, the references and all that stuff and everything. But they could make Maria Manic a Beth Phoenix-like character. I think that could work pretty well. AEW could use her well. She has a lot of options. She could...
I really think she'd be better off in AEW, not because I'm anti-WWE, but because they need a stronger women's roster.
They do, actually. And you know what? Let's transition into that. Because she could work well with people in WWE, but WWE already has a problem using about 70% of their women correctly.
Yeah, and speaking of,
But let's look at the AEW women's roster first.
Oh, yeah.
Let's look at that first. There are some good women. We're not going to mention every single one of them, but Britt Baker. Okay, I like Britt Baker. Keep her off of commentary for the love of God. Unless you're gonna make it a 3-person commentary team.
Yeah, she should right now be at the top of their card.
She should.
Nyla Rose needs some work in terms of in ring. She's good at power. She's got a good presence.
She has really good agility for somebody her size.
Yes.
She really does, and she does have a great striking look.
Yeah, it's just there are some kinks that need working out.
There are. I also think they kind of set her up almost to fail from like some of the matches. And I'm not saying that she has failed. I'm not saying that at all. But think about it. They had Awesome Kong show up, which was great, but it kind of took it away from Nyla.
Riho is going to be forgotten.
That's really sad because Riho is good. If you've seen any of her stuff in like Japan, she is pretty good.
And I don't mean to say that as an insult, but she's got nothing like character-wise.
Yeah. She's Japanese.
She's got nothing that sticks out to me. She doesn't have like a look. She doesn't have a style. She's a little bit taller than Marco Stunt. And a little heavier maybe. I don't know. No, lighter than Marco Stunt.
She's better in the ring though.
But like, I mean, you take a look at someone like Hikaru Shida, she sticks out.
Shida, yeah, she does. Oh, she and she's great. She can actually sing really good too. Check that out. But she could be good. Now Riho, they could be trying to set up like a Gail Kim Awesome Kong thing like they did in Impact with Riho and Nyla Rose, which isn't a bad thing. The problem is Riho, for as good as she is, and she is good, doesn't look like her offense would hurt because she's 98 pounds. And yes, I know that's kind of knocking, but it's true. It doesn't look... I'm not saying she isn't a good wrestler.
She could have matches with a lot of the other women, but taking down someone like Nyla Rose at her weight classes in almost any other fight just doesn't make sense.
And it wouldn't make sense if it was the man and the women. I mean, it barely made sense when they did it with Rey Mysterio and whoever.
Big Show?
Yeah. But to be fair, at that point...
Rey Mysterio and Big Show makes more sense if you focus on... He's using agility, take out the legs, but Rey Mysterio also has muscle mass. He's got... this style and flow to him that he can...
The years of experience also and stuff like that.
Yeah, in Riho, I don't see that championship material just yet.
No, I don't, and that's not to say she's a failure. It's not to say she's not good, but they need to have somebody else be champion, and soon. Now, switch it to Full Gear, whatever you want to do.
The women's roster needs a strong start. Britt Baker...
Hikaru Shida, as we mentioned.
Nyla
Rose. B. Priestley needs to learn
Martinez.
to sell. Yeah. Did they sign Mercedes Martinez?
I'm not sure. I hope they did, because goddamn.
She got a big fucking reaction at All Out.
Yeah.
I mean, I was happy to see her.
Although I think they may focus on building some of the women first before bringing in more.
Which is a good idea.
I've not really ever experienced a wrestling promotion from the start that's this public.
And I have to an extent with some stuff like watching Impact and stuff like that. And now there's something else we're going to touch on with possible news in regards to New Japan later. But with the women's division, without getting into too much detail, B. Priestley, she needs to learn how to actually sell for people and not do the bullshit she did with Sadie Gibbs. But like Yuka Sakazaki, the genie girl, now I love her. She's a character. She has personality. She's as small as Riho, but she has goddamn personality. Yeah. And she has a theme to get stuck in your head.
I would envision if they make a women's mid-card title that she would be...
Yuka?
Yeah.
Yuka would be pretty good. But they have...
Or against the right opponent, she could win the championship for a reign.
Now, AEW Dark, though, did you see last week's when they had Penelope Ford wrestle?
I did not. Yeah. I needed to catch up on a lot of
stuff. It's okay. No, Penelope Ford, though, not necessarily...
I just watched last week's NXT.
Yeah, dude, you've been busy. It's okay. I just wasn't sure. Penelope Ford actually did pretty well in that match, and I'm going to be impressed to see what they do with her. I am reviewing AEW Dark and NWA Power, which, by the way, brief mention, they actually included a 10-second clip of my review, episode 1 review, and their little countdown thing before episode 2.
And much like everybody who has just heard of John, they spelled his name wrong.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, my bosses at work still spell it wrong.
I was elected to lead, not to read.
But with the women's division in AEW, it could be really, really stacked, and I don't mean like that. But it could do great things. These women are talented.
Yes.
They just need to be given the platform. They need to be given good storylines and stuff like that, and hopefully they can.
It's almost like sometimes a writer or producer might be necessary.
That's true. Now, I don't know who's working with the women's division. Mm-hmm. If it's Brandy, stay out of the ring. I'm sorry.
Please God.
Yeah. Now Allie's another character. She could work pretty well.
Awesome Kong might be working with them too. Who knows?
And you know, Awesome Kong's
Or
out a
Aja
lot.
Kong too.
Wait, they have a second one?
Huh?
Oh, not Aja Kong 2, Electric Boogaloo. So, that's what we need. We either need them teaming up, the Kongs. We need the Kongs teaming up, or we need them facing off.
The Queen of Kongs.
That's... Oh, God, they actually had a team, like, of the Kong brothers in WCW in, like, 94.
The King of Kongs, I'm betting?
No, one was Amazing Kong and one was Awesome Kong.
Oh, that seems like...
Or it was something like that. I mean,
That sounds like a wasted naming opportunity.
Yeah, it was really... Well,
pathetic.
It was WCW. It was WCW in the mid-90s. But in all seriousness, AEW's women's roster, I really do... Right now, it's their Achilles heel and no fault of the talent. It's just because of all the people they have they're trying to build up stories with, the women almost feel like an afterthought. And we're only a couple weeks into TV, and yes, we're recording this right before AEW tonight. And they're going to continue to build to Full Gear.
Full Gear.
See, I all I have to do is just do that, and
I'm going to be watching it from my cardboard box.
That would actually be kind of funny, but... Speaking of AEW, let's talk about AEW Dark briefly. So we'll just lump this in with this. But AEW Dark, I like the idea that they're showing their dark matches.
Yes. They had a tinge of story to it, but for the most part, it is just, an exhibition kind of setup.
Did you watch last night's?
No.
Okay. They had two matches. One that was like two teams that were involved in two.
Sorry, I did watch one part. I watched the entrance of the Dark Order teaming up with Jack Evans and Helico, and then I kind of turned off.
That was actually the match I was referring to because I had Shima and SCU against them. And it was tag team tournament implications. Having storylines and dark matches isn't a bad idea. If you have the YouTube format, you might as well use it.
Right.
And I wasn't a big fan of the Omega Janela match. I mean, in part because I don't like Janela. I just don't. I don't think he's any good. I don't hate the guy. I don't. But the idea is there were people like, oh, well, it was spots for the sake of spots. In the match, yes, but it was telling a story of Omega needing to get more unhinged because he had all the hype in the world in 2018 as being the wrestler of 2018, and after Wrestle Kingdom coming to AEW, and then he's won a couple matches, but he's mostly lost.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, he needs to get back on track because wins and losses matter. No one can see the quotations, of course.
Right.
But Omega can feel that, he needs to get back into this.
Yeah.
He needs to beat Jon Moxley.
And that way, going into the next year, you could start the year off with a bang rather than a boing.
Yeah. To be fair, that was a good way of him to do that, though. That was some good stuff. Now, I think the AEW Dark's a good idea, though, and I think that they told a good story there with Omega, even if I didn't care for the match. But other than that, NXT on USA, they're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I've actually been pretty impressed with some of the stuff they've done.
Yeah.
So, and yes, I review NXT on USA after AEW because wrestling is life, and people...
Wrestling is life. Wrestling is life.
And people, honestly, are tuning into the channel. Record numbers were better.
Yeah.
We're at about 10,000 views in the last just over a month. Like
I remember when it took a while to get past 1,000 views in a month.
Yeah, which I was actually... I think... Just a little brief sidebar here. I think once you joined the channel, just before, Survivor Series 2016, I think it was at, 21,000 views for total. I was ready to, just hang it up. And now look at us. We started at the bottom, and now we're here. Wait.
We're still kind of at the bottom,
but we're getting there. But in all seriousness, thanks, you guys, for the support. Now,
But I gotta say...
Yep.
I think I may have left window open because it's getting a little drafty.
It is. And what a segue that is into the WWE Draft, which, okay, this is one of the worst drafts that they have ever done.
I don't remember anything about the drafts other than one thing that stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you draft the champions of each brand?
When it should be obvious that since they're the champions of each brand...
They should stick with the brand that they're in.
Yes, but they treated it like a goddamn blockbuster.
Oh my god, Seth Rollins with the Universal Championship is staying on Raw with the bright red belt.
And like Becky Lynch.
Like the only thing that could even make any bit of a surprise is the women's tag team titles.
Yeah.
And then they just elaborated, no, it's still going to be defended on Raw and SmackDown and possibly NXT, and that they're, if they lose the championship, then they'll be on Raw.
Yeah, you know what? That
was what I was going to say earlier. I was like, why the fuck would you draft your champions? Like, you already know they're going to be there. Why not just make sure that those are assigned spots? If you are the champion of that brand, you stay there.
Yeah.
You don't put the Raw Tag Team Champions on SmackDown. That would be goddamn stupid.
It was like when the Revival were a Raw Tag Team and won the SmackDown. Oh.
Yes.
No, I agree with you. That should have been obvious. The champion should have been exempt. Like, hey, they're going to be on these brands.
Yeah.
And you're right.
Yeah, that would have opened the door for a lot more interesting picks.
People that are underutilized. Apollo Crews, Cesaro, Cedric, Buddy. I mean, a whole bunch of Humberto, and we're going to get into all the people.
Humberto Carrillo.
Aiden English wants to be on Raw commentary now so he can play with him. Those were his exact quote. That was his exact quote when WWE 2K20 footage leaked. Aiden English's infatuation with Humberto Carrillo is kind of scary.
He likes it mexy. He thinks it's sexy.
I mean, have you seen who he's married to?
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
Right.
There is so much wrestling, by the way. Speaking of actually Aiden English's wife, she's a ring announcer on...
Shaw Guerrero?
Yeah, I forgot how to say her name. On WoW Women of Wrestling, she's a ring announcer.
Wow.
I have not been able to keep up on WoW enough. I haven't reviewed it since the debut episode, A, because of time and lack of views. But I encourage you guys to check out WoW Women of Wrestling. I have some stuff DVR'd. I'm very impressed with it. And it is a nice, little hour show. Anyway, as you said about being drafty, let's look at everybody. So let's go through everything.
Round 1. Draft.
Yeah. The SmackDown Night 1. Becky Lynch to Raw. Oh my God. The Raw Women's Champion.
Egads.
Roman Reigns to SmackDown.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah. Ooh, Raw.
I mean, they spent so much money putting him in the fucking intro sequence to SmackDown.
They did. And then
CG ain't cheap, guys.
It ain't. Fox is... You wouldn't think Fox would let anybody brown, though. Mm-hmm. So then we get... to Raw.
Yes.
Styles, Gallows, and Anderson, which is what I'm going to call them until they come up with a name that's not so stupid. The Fiend.
Sag.
Yeah. I still like the...
Both because they're getting older and also because it's an acronym.
Yeah. And you had... Well, remember when Seth Rollins found out that he had, other siblings? So I put up in a quote tweet...
Tyler.
That was good stuff. When they put up a thing about, Rollins with that, and I said, the DNA community. I mean, Styles knows about that. He has 4 kids. Anyway, SmackDown gets the Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
Oh, boy.
Which, okay, and I just want to focus on this really quick. Well, Drew McIntyre is also going to Raw. Maybe
now that they're on separate brands, they will no longer continue feuding, as we were guessing on Friday. No one was guessing that.
Except they're going to be feuding a Crown Jewel, Chris.
Yes.
For the Universal title.
Non-canon!
The draft is the new wildcard rule. It is. It is. I mean...
The only rule is, there are no rules.
Wait, what?
But then wouldn't that mean that there is a rule? What?
It just... I mean, Drew McIntyre, good for him being on Raw, but you got Wyatt and Rollins facing off at Crown Jewel. And look, Crown Jewel's going to suck. I may have that day off. And don't worry, I will have a review where I just crack jokes at it. I don't know why anybody would assume that I would crack jokes at that.
No, not at all.
No. And don't worry, the bone saws will be ready for that show. Bray's going to have the lantern of Jamal Khashoggi's face. Because the Crown Prince wants it.
No, he probably wouldn't do that.
You sure?
Bray? No.
Oh, no, Bray wouldn't.
No.
Crown Prince would want that, though.
Who cares?
Oh, no. I mean, I agree. I agree with, in principle, but no, Bray wouldn't. So, round 2, Randy Orton goes to Raw. His Viper is now Raw.
Gross.
Yeah.
Also, Bat Owl.
Oh, God. SmackDown of Sasha Banks.
Chafing.
SmackDown of Sasha Banks, big shock.
Yeah.
The blue hair gave no indication of that.
No, not at all. No.
Ricochet on Raw, which he was already on Raw anyway. Most of these people were already on these brands.
Yeah, I believe the way they looked at it is that the day of the draft starting, everyone was a free agent at that point.
Even though
Even though they did have matches at the beginning of each episode.
But
for the most part, it's acting on the assumption that everyone's a free agent until they're drafted.
Yeah, but the whole thing is that all this draft was just taking the furniture and rearranging it in the house. Nothing really changed.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we'll get to the bullshit.
It's not any roomier, that's for sure.
That's true. I mean, Raw's still going to try to fill the time. SmackDown gets Braun Strowman, so now he can job on another brand. Bobby Lashley is on...
Smack Braun.
I don't think I want to do that. I don't want to
Do it.
die. No.
Do it.
Bobby Lashley on Raw, and Bobby Lashley apparently likes it Raw, judging by that segment with Lana. They're turning Lana into the new Sable. Because we
and then
need...
she, too, will marry Brock Lesnar.
Ooh. We do not need to revisit the Sable character. One, Lana actually has charisma. Not much, but she has charisma.
Yeah.
And she does serve a purpose. She actually wants to be there, and at least she's a good manager. She's a good talker. Sable was none of those things, and only because Russo and Vince McMahon thought that she was hot, which they were wrong, and they were idiots. Russo being an idiot.
Sably.
Yeah, the Sably. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea all around.
Hey, you want to know what Mark Barrow was up to?
What was that?
A public speaking at Pilchuck.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Well, good for Mark Marrow.
Yep.
I always thought, I
think his new career really is.
Yeah. Oh, he's been
motivational speaker.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny with Mark Marrow. Just for a brief little sidebar here, he was in WCW for a while as Johnny B. Bad. I had been critical of Mark Marrow's pushes in the past.
I'm tired of people telling me to be bad.
He actually was somebody that could have. God damn it. He was somebody that could have, I think, worked a lot better in WWE. He had a great series of matches with DDP and others.
Yep.
In WCW, then came to WWE, and that went nowhere. And
that literally ruined most of his life.
I mean, well, he made money. He made plenty of money.
There was that and losing his mother to cancer, and then his younger brother 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I mean, poor Marrow. Marrow's relentlessly
I think we're
positive.
getting off on the sidebar, though.
We are, but
focus because
we
got.
Well, Impact, though, he had a brief run Impact, but he is doing some great stuff. Now, we're good on Mark Marrow. Round 3, Alexa Bliss to Raw. Or is she?
Done!
SmackDown SmackDown gets Lacey Evans.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And by the way, Lacey Evans teaming with Natalya on Raw. Now, I get why they did it.
Didn't you punch me in the face?
Didn't you throw me off?
Yes. Are we best friends now? Yes.
Wait, didn't you toss me off a table 7 days ago? Yes.
It didn't have your father's face on it. That's true.
Oh, God, poor Ruby. But anyway, Lacey on SmackDown is a good idea.
I wonder where Riot's going.
Hopefully they reunite the Riot Squad. Because that lives on Raw.
That's true.
Sarah Logan's not doing anything except posting stuff on Instagram. And I'm not knocking Sarah, but anyway, Kevin Owens on Raw. Okay. He
did all that work on SmackDown for jack and shit.
Yeah, that was kind of my issue. Is like, he could have gone after the Intercontinental title from Shinsuke.
He also should have been like a round 1 pick.
Yeah.
He retired McMahon. The one thing that everybody's been trying to do.
Yeah, but we got a better McMahon. We got Stephanie back for all this Raw stuff. Yeah, right. SmackDown.
Well, just for the draft, I hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
The Revival are on
At least Kevin Owens could always challenge her to a ladder match.
Her freaking pancake tits would get caught in the rungs. Anyway, so moving on from that, the Revival, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions are going to SmackDown, Chris. You all right? Yeah. I'm good. Natalya is going to Raw. One, she was already on Raw anyway. Let me make this clear. Another little sidebar here. The War Room shit between the USA Network and Fox Network was bullshit.
Like, I get it. It seemed like a great idea, I bet, on paper.
But
implementation,
pretty bad.
Dude need to change his laptop background. Anyway.
JBL needing to change his background. Remember that?
No.
Oh, he was looking up porn.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, Natalya on Raw. I like how... You all right? I like Natalya.
Sorry, something about Natalya just gives me gas.
Proud of that?
No.
You should be. Natalya has... I'm happy for Natalya. I do like Natalya.
Yeah, me too.
I know. Besides, maybe I think you and I, a few people were in the minority, but
what? Just because I'm brown?
What?
What?
It's because she Canadian? No, it's because she Canadian. I can English.
No, her.
No, Natalya. I think her being on Raw is a good idea. She won't ever win the championship again. Have her and Beth go after the tag titles at some point. They look like they were going that route.
Or, see how this goes with Lacey. Maybe it'll be like that Cesaro and Sheamus thing where we thought that's not going to work. And then it totally worked.
Yeah, but they're on separate brands.
What?
SmackDown has Lacey and Natty's on Raw.
Oh, okay.
Watch, they just do the whole wild card rule because it's such good shit, Chris.
Yeah, I would love
So, round 4, the Viking Raiders are on Raw. Okay. And then they won the Raw Tag Team Championships a few days later. I'm sorry. I will believe they are going to push tag team wrestling when they actually do it. I just don't buy it with Vince. Oh, and quick note about SmackDown. Yeah, Bischoff's already out.
Yeah, he got drafted to the unemployment line, and Bruce Pritchard got in.
I knew
Bruce Pritchard.
I real quick, I knew it wasn't going to work at all.
No.
With
Apparently,
Bischoff.
Bruce Pritchard has been doing the work because Bischoff hasn't.
Well, and I knew it wasn't going to work because it's like, why would you bring Bischoff in? And nothing against...
I can't wait for his new book, 84 Days.
Okay.
I lasted approximately 8 times a Scaramucci.
Oh, god damn. That's great. But Bruce Pritchard, I mean, if you want to get an ass kisser in there, you get Bruce Pritchard. I don't like Bruce Pritchard at all. Can you tell?
I never thought you were a big fan of Bruce Pritchard.
That's a good way to put it. In all seriousness, though, this was never going to work out with Bischoff. Pritchard is an ass kisser that will do what Vince wants to do. Because Vince is still going to have control over SmackDown and Raw. That's not far off from how he sounds. But in all seriousness, SmackDown isn't really going to change. And Raw isn't going to really change. And Fox is going to get pissed if they lose more viewers. They lost over 1 million, I think, from...
I think everyone was expecting that, though.
But... they probably wanted higher ratings for the debut episode.
1.4 million wasn't bad.
No, but hopefully it rights the ship. I'm not trying to write WWE off. I want it to be better. Here's why WWE annoys me sometimes. The talents work hard. They do. Yeah. Well, most of them except Orton. They do work hard. The problem is Vince is writing it. It's just they have all the resources, all the money, all the TV, all of these advantages. And they keep throwing it in on TV, and that's what annoys me. Mm-hmm. That's why we watch WWE.
And only on TV.
Yeah, not on pay-per-view. No. This annoyed me greatly. Just all this bullshit. It's just good.
Anyway, where were we?
Moving on, though. Lucha House Party on SmackDown. Oh, boy, whatever. Nikki Cross on Raw. Or is she? SmackDown.
No.
SmackDown gets Heavy Machinery. Raw gets the Street Profits. Oh, look, they finally decided to use the Street Profits in something other than a backstage segment, you stupid motherfuckers. Anyway.
And now the question of the day. Where the fuck is Ember Moon?
Injured, apparently.
Why didn't, you couldn't still,
ankle injury.
Draft, when she comes back?
Yeah, but she may be out 6 months. Possible. Oh, no, I agree with you, but I think she might be out. Well,
it's one of those many things of there's a few people that see. Titus O'Neil got drafted.
You just want to see Ember on TV.
Yeah.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm joking with you. Titus O'Neil getting drafted. That's pretty bad.
He hasn't wrestled a match, a singles match. I don't think in
a while.
Yeah, I think he wrestled 2-3 singles matches this year.
Maybe, and I think they were all in main event. I don't even think they were on Raw. But he was the first ever 24/7 champion. So, Monday Night Raw, Night 2, Round 1. Rollins to Raw. Brock to SmackDown. And Charlotte Flair on Raw. And then the New Day goes to SmackDown, so they stay on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And then Andrade and Zelina. Zelina saying the horse faces line.
The 4 horse faces.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
That was pretty good. I think Zelina's upset because she doesn't even come up to the height of a saddle on a horse. But anyway, moving on.
I don't think that's too much of a problem with who she's married to.
Oh. Round 2, the Kabuki Warriors. Good. Please do something with Asuka and Kairi. Keep doing something with them.
I hope they're ready for Kairi. But,
I would be. Moving on. SmackDown gets the new Daniel Bryan. Which is not shocking that Daniel Bryan is there. Rusev is on Raw, so now we can continue this whole bullshit of Lashley and Rusev.
I can't wait till they
have Leo Rush show back up during one of those segments and just yell, Lashley, from the back. Just to annoy you a little bit more.
I don't know why you would think that would annoy me, Chris.
Because a lot of things annoy you, John.
Do you know?
It's very easy.
Yeah, it is. Do you know how hard it was for me to put over that match for the Cruiserweight title? For me to swallow my pride and say, you know what? I got to take my bias out of it.
Yeah, I mean...
It's rare that I'm ever biased, though.
Yeah, had to swallow eventually.
Bailey is on SmackDown. Aleister Black is on Raw. Okay, cool. All the couples are there.
Good.
Good for them. Ricky Starks, by the way, was on NWA Power this last night.
Nice.
Round 3, Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander on Raw, which he already was. Shinsuke Nakamura, the Intercontinental Champion, on SmackDown. Okay.
Humberto Carrillo.
On Raw.
Yeah, good for him.
Yes. And now Ali on SmackDown. Great. A Muslim man on Fox.
This is going to end well.
No, it won't. Ali and Andrade had a good match on Raw, though.
Yeah.
Pretty good match.
And they kept rolling what? On Raw.
Okay, Raw just got infinitely worse.
Not infinitely.
No,
It's not that bad of a move.
no, it's just it's Raw and Eric Raw, and I'm proud of that. Right. Round 4, Buddy Murphy.
I would have
Good.
gone with Airrock, but you know.
That just sounds like sounds like a metal band from Europe.
Yeah.
So Buddy Murphy on Raw.
Yes.
Great.
He beat Cedric Alexander in a match later.
Yeah, pretty good match. Ziggler and Rude, after losing the tag titles, got drafted to SmackDown.
Womp womp.
And Jinder Mahal got drafted. The Iconics didn't get drafted. Ugh.
I mean, the Iconics did get signed.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's go back to
Jinder Mahal got drafted before Noe Jose.
Yeah, I mean, that's not shocking.
I mean, yes, one of them's a former champion and the other one is Jose.
No way, Jose. Poor No Way Jose. Carmella on SmackDown, and they split up her and R-Truth.
Yes.
God forbid. Get rid of the 24/7 title and Raw will be better. Or at least infinitely less shit.
You know he's not going to stick to Raw, though, because he's the 24/7 champion.
Yeah, right. Round 5. That's why this draft is bullshit, because there's still going to be people going between shows.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Round 5. Samoa Joe to Raw.
Samosa Joseph.
He will be bringing his pink cast.
I think he would have been better off on SmackDown.
He would have. The wrestling show. The Miz is going to SmackDown, despite having Miz and Mrs. on USA, unless they already canceled it.
That's a good point.
That's something that actually occurred to me during
But then again, then they both get the Miz's crowds.
True.
He gets the Miz all over the place.
Yeah. Explains why Maurice is pregnant again.
Akira Tozawa.
On Raw.
Yeah.
Hooray. I guess.
I know that 205 Live is now, unfortunately,
Done.
deceased.
Done.
Dead.
Yes.
Due to Reno. I really hope they continue to use these cruiserweights.
Yeah, and I mean, use them, make some tag teams out of it. Build your tag team division, stuff like that. Because Cedric and Buddy do not need to be relegated to the cruiserweight division, especially Buddy. SmackDown gets Corbin.
King Corbin.
No, Corbin. He's just Corbin. He's not a king. If he ends up like one of the kings, King Henry the something or other, then okay. Okay, that's a bit harsh. Raw, Shelton Benjamin. And he's just going to stare and wander off the screen again.
Delightfully devilish Shelton.
God. And then Rey Mysterio's on Raw, so give up on the whole Rey Mysterio Brock Lesnar thing.
Oh, boy.
Except he's going to accompany Cain Velasquez at Crown Jewel.
Yes.
Cain Velasquez, who needs knee surgery to save himself. But Shorty Gable, just hand Gable his freaking release papers. Just let him go somewhere else.
Alternatively, if Gable completely owns this stupid name, people are going to forget how stupid it is.
It's a stupid name, and I'm not... I love Gable, but this is going to be impossible to overcome. Raw, got Titus O'Neil. SmackDown got Elias. Raw got Liv Morgan.
So now it's no longer SmackDown Live. And that is a disappointing lack of fun.
Very disappointing. And then...
I guess he's going to be Raw and Real. Let's see here.
And then we get the special announcement where SmackDown gets Alexa and Nikki for future draft pick considerations. It's not the fucking NFL or the NBA or any of this shit. You goddamn morons.
Yeah.
So, what else we got going?
No Way Jose, Mojo Rawley, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, the Iconics, and Sarah Logan are heading to Raw.
All right.
And then Cesaro, Luke Harper, Drake Maverick, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke are on SmackDown. Good for Dana going to SmackDown.
Cesaro wasn't even worth the draft to WWE.
He wasn't, Chris.
Titus O'Neil, Jinder Mahal. They were worth the draft to WWE. But no, not Cesaro. Literally one of the most talented wrestlers of his generation.
This draft is a new wildcard rule, and we're just going to probably end it right about here because we got to get stuff done. We got to edit this and get ready for AEW.
We have things to do.
What things? We don't do...
We watch wrestling and make reviews of it.
We do make reviews of it. And
very enthusiastic reviews.
Yes. So... But yes, in all honesty, this draft was shit. It was
a waste of time. Nothing really came out of it that made us go, "Oh, that's interesting."
Because the problem is
none of it was interesting.
They're trying to create competition among themselves. Oh, and by the way, really, really quickly, there's WWE tried to buy Pro Wrestling Noah.
Yeah, they wanted to NXT Japan. They tried to buy Pro Wrestling Noah, and Pro Wrestling Noah was like Noah.
So. It's a bad idea for them to do an NXT Japan because NXT UK doesn't even have any buzz. Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunate, but it doesn't have any buzz.
I mean, if they got Pro Wrestling Noah, they might be able to sign also Tajiri, and then they'd have a buzzsaw.
Wait, he works for Pro Wrestling Noah?
No, I don't know.
He might actually.
He just wrestles around.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we got to see Tajiri in Super Crazy. So, really, really quickly, big New Japan, rumor New Japan announcement that Bushi Road, I believe is what it is, are, not Bushido Blade, are gonna
a Bushi Road. It's so bushy. You need to bring a machete.
Or like Bushi the wrestler and mist sprays out of it.
Grizz.
Ooh, I'm not sure how to feel about that. But they may possibly be adding Stardom. They may be buying Stardom. This is rumor and innuendo, by the way. Rumors. They may be buying Stardom.
And if there's one thing that John knows, it's innuendos.
Or
Innuendos.
Yeah, that's why she doesn't walk straight for a week. So, they may be buying Stardom and either incorporating a women's division or operating Stardom as its own thing. If that's the case, interesting. I don't know if it's going to end up happening, but interesting. So, leave your thoughts in the comments on that, and we will be back again Sunday with a review of, a podcast of NXT, The House Show, and Defy. Our voices will still be shot. Horribly shot.
Yeah. And remember, folks, subscribe. Or else.
Or else what?
Stuff.
Right.